All right, welcome to the Knackered Golfers podcast. Yeah, so yesterday was Father's Day, and I basically spent the whole weekend watching the U.S. Open. I flipped back and forth between 24 Hours of Le Mans and the U.S. Open. It was... I can't say that it was entertaining to watch. It was just like, get me through this. It was almost like having a tooth pulled watching that. Because the course was agony. The coverage was agony. And to finally have JJ Spawn win was really great. Because there was just a moment of elation that everybody had watching it. And I thank God I was there with my son, Mr. Producer, watching it in the family room, and I didn't, that was a moment when he made that putt where I was not recording, and I didn't record my reaction to it, and it was just like, man, what a waste of not filming. But I mean, at least I had the moment with my son where we could watch that together, and he knew it right off the bat, right off the putter face, that he was going to make it. He just said something like, "Oh man, that he's gonna make that," you know. He just knew it. So it was just like, oh my God, can we please get this done with? Can we just please get it done? And I can't really think of anything else to say other than the course was a monster. The rain made it even worse. The rain was just awful. And the rain just made it like, how can you have a major championship on the East Coast with rain? And they're going back to Shinnecock Hills next year for the another East Coast major championship. And they're, you know, I'm annoyed that all these future sites they're talking about, they're never going back to the Olympic Club. They're never going back there. They're going to California twice in a row in like 27 and 28 or something, like where they're going to Pebble Beach and then they're going to Riviera. I mean, they're going to have the U.S. Women's Open at Riviera next year, which ought to be good. But I mean, I don't know. It's like they just had the U.S. Open there at LA Country Club in 23, and then, you know, the Wyndham Clark guy got angry and he banged up a bunch of lockers in the Oakmont locker room like a spoiled brat that I've heard about. Good Lord, man. So it's like they're never ever going back to the Olympic Club, and that is wrong. It really is wrong. But I mean, Oakmont was a really, if you want to call it a test, that has to be, I mean, you got to look up what the winning score was in 2012 without rain at the Olympic Club. I think it might have been even par for Webb Simpson. But I mean, I don't know. Still, the Olympic Club may be the more difficult golf course than Oakmont without rain and without having extremely heavy rough, you know, for the U.S. Open. Because I mean, 1 under par, sure, that was a great test, but it was just agony to watch. I don't know why the Olympic Club is just not even considered to be a U.S. Open venue anymore. And I mean, sure, if they're gonna have it at the if they're gonna have the PGA at the Olympic Club, that ought to be the best PGA they've had in many, many years. So we'll see how that goes. God willing, you know. So anyway, the U.S. Open finished finally at Oakmont, and it's just a sigh of relief that it's done. And you know, the rain created a lot of havoc and anger amongst the players, you know, especially like the shot that Sam Burns had that he tried to get the ruling on. that they said, no, you got to play it as it lies. I mean, that was messed up. And he is, you could tell by what he said on camera, this is effing BS. After he finished the hole with like a double bogey. But then he fell away, in the last few holes anyway. And so he just probably lost all hope and just like, all right, get me done here. I mean, I just want to get done and get on with my life, because this has been the most farcical. I mean, you got to wonder what they're actually thinking. If they call it a farcical experience, or if it's a true test. And of course, that's what they were saying was the membership at Oakmont and the USGA wanted to come together to make a championship that was agony for anybody that was playing in it. They just wanted it to be extremely difficult. And I'm surprised Tyrrell Hatton kept his wits about him, by not, breaking a few clubs or whatever. But I mean, he was fun to watch a little bit. But I mean, I wanted Adam Scott to win and JJ Spawn. I wanted JJ Spawn to win, hands down. But it's like, because he's from LA. But I mean, it was just like, who's going to win this thing? Nobody's walking away with it. Nobody is, taking the lead on anything. Robert McIntyre shot 68, and he was like a leader in the clubhouse. And he was a complete, we only knew about him in the last 2 holes of the championship, or of his round on the final round. And then there he was in prime position to take the lead, and he did in the clubhouse, but he was only even par. But then there was one guy out there. There was more putts to be made, even though the conditions were awful. I mean, I always thought that a putt on 18, being downhill like that, it wasn't going to get to the hole. But I mean, Hovland got there, but he was just a hair. It was just off to the right a little bit, or left, or whatever. He had a good lag putt there, but then JJ Spawn, he just nailed it with the pin in the hole, and that was great. It was a beautiful moment, and that was like, finally, this thing is over. It's like a baseball game that was in like 20 innings or something. It was like, can we just please get this done and go home? That's basically what it was. And so, I haven't listened to No Laying Up yet. I'm just looking at it from what I observed during this tournament. And then, they had the rain delay on Sunday, and then they go back to the 2008 U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, where Tiger Woods, on 14, getting on the green in 2, and then nailing the eagle putt, and then he gets the putt on 18, and it's like, oh my God, I brought my son in there to see that. And I'm like, dude, you got to see this, because this is what actually happened. And he had a broken leg. Tiger had a broken leg, and he was just like, no, I'm not having this. So he made the putt, and then he went on to win the championship again the next day. So, because it was a playoff. So, I mean, wow. I mean, I couldn't believe that they showed that far back of a tournament. They were talking earlier in the week about the 25-year anniversary of Tiger's dominant win at Pebble Beach, where he won by 15 shots. I mean, why the heck didn't they show that? But I mean, I don't know. Oakmont was a brute. It really was. It was just like, oh man, can we please get out of here? I'm just like, I have no desire to walk the property. I have no desire to be there in the rain. And you got to hand it to the people from Pittsburgh to hang in there as much as they did. It was like they were there to see Punxsutawney Phil show his head. Does he see a shadow or not? And man, WPBH in Pittsburgh, is Phil Connors there saying that, JJ Spawn just won the U.S. Open, and he definitely does see a shadow. Oh my God, what a crazy tournament. It really was. So I don't know. It was something else, and it was just like, man, can we please get this over with? Oh my God, it was just like, it came on at like, it probably came on at like 9 o'clock in the morning on the Pacific coast, and then it ran until at least 5 o'clock. So they were on it for like 8 hours. My gosh, what a crazy tournament. And then I don't know, was the coverage good? I mean, I thought that Steve Kinzer was out of his little bit out of his element. I don't know why they didn't have a guy that had at least won a major championship doing the color commentary. I don't know why the heck they did that. He just didn't seem like he was all that engaged with what was going on. The guy had never, I don't think the guy even won a PGA Tour tournament, and they got him being the color commentator doing this. They could have had Larry Nelson in there talking about what was going on. He might have had better insight. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. It was a little annoying to see him and hear him, but I thought Brad Faxon did a good job. And I mean, he was low amateur at Oakmont in 1983. And I don't even know if they mentioned that at all. But, I didn't really see much of Mike Tirico either. But it was a lot of, mostly it was just Dan Hicks and Steve Kinzer. But I mean, I don't know. It was they could have had somebody else, but they chose to have that guy, and it was just like, wow. That guy didn't really have the insight that I thought it needed to have. They could have, I mean, who's a guy that's not playing in this tournament that maybe could have offered a bit more insight? They could have brought Johnny Miller back, and I think they did on Saturday. They brought Johnny Miller back, and then they interviewed Johnny Miller and Jack Nicklaus about, whatever it was. The last U.S. Open that Jack Nicklaus won was like 1980 at Baltusrol. I'm trying to think of all the U.S. Opens that Jack won. It might have been 62 at Oakmont, and then 72 at Pebble Beach, and then 1980 at Baltusrol. I don't know what that third one was. Was it 75? I don't know. I can't remember. I got to look that up. But then Johnny Miller, he was like, yeah, well, you can't hit it in the rough like Bryson does. He's watching the tournament at home this weekend. Oh my God, that was funny. But he was cool to see it. He's a little bit more slow now, but it was cool to see Johnny Miller. So I don't know. It was just like, can we just get it over with? Guys were hitting it in the rough every single hole, and they were having to gouge the ball out for their second shot. And just can anybody just hit a straight shot like Adam Scott did? Adam Scott had a pretty good day or pretty good week hitting straight balls off the tee, but then he was just, it was hard for him to sort of, his irons weren't that up to speed. He was struggling with those. But then Victor Hovland, my God, he was just all over the place. Like on the first hole on Saturday, he hit it in the bushes out of bounds, and then he had to get a drop, and then he I think he got on the green, but it's like he just completely faltered. But I mean, he was there. He was there for like a second or third place. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope that JJ Spawn, I mean, the experience that he had losing to Rory McIlroy at the Players was fascinating, but I think more was his what do you call it, the sports psychologist trying to help him get over the hump of just like having a good solid state of mind and just doing what you can do to get it all done. So I don't know. We'll see how it looks here. So I don't know what's going to happen. So I mean, I missed an exit here. So well, anyway, so it's over, and thank God the U.S. Open is over, and I'm glad that it's finally done. And I'm just happy that the tournament's over and it's not having to go into a playoff, you know, for the U.S. Open, because it's just completely meaningless. It's just like, wow. And they ran out of time during the day. They just had that rain delay. They had the rain delay, and then they came back and they barely finished. But then they were like, Scotty Scheffler could come back and he could win. You know, he's like 4 over par, and all he needs is 4 birdies. And they were showing him like they would if Rory was in the field, you know. And it was good to see him, but I mean, I just thought that it was a little like, can we just get it done with? So I don't know. I'm just glad that it's over. And it's, you know, the U.S. Open is, when it's done well, it's a good championship to watch. But I mean, if it just takes all of my, I'm not angry and I'm not bitter that I watched both days of it. I just wish that it was, I don't know. It is what it is. You know, the U.S. Open should not have rain in the month of June. It just shouldn't. And I mean, why the heck would they? You know, we struggle with this with the PGA at what do you call it? The I can't even remember the name. Hale Kualo. Yeah, we can't even get through a PGA championship without rain. But at least Scotty won on the last day with no rain. But it's like, wow. And like, you know, were they doing lift, clean, and place and not anything like that? And they're like, play it as it lies and all this other garbage. You know, they're sticklers with that stuff. Man, it was hard to watch. It really was. It was really hard to watch. And it was so great that it was finally over. And JJ Spawn won, and he's the perfect guy to win, because it couldn't happen to a perfect guy with a great family, beautiful wife, and beautiful kids. And it was just so beautiful to see that moment when Daddy won. So I don't know. That was great. I got a little verklempt with that, seeing that. This was just great. It was awesome that he finally won, and you know, I wrote him off when he was not having a good first 9, you know, and he finally was able to pull it all together, and just when he made that putt, it was just like, oh my God, it's finally over. So anyway, it was good. It was really good to see him win. But man, what a monster of a championship it really was. And did they give him a bigger trophy because he won it at Oakmont? Is his U.S. Open trophy bigger because it was at Oakmont? Oh man, I don't even know that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and looking forward to seeing what the British Open has in store at Royal Portrush. So that ought to be good. So anyway, and then the travails of what do you call it, of Rory McIlroy not talking to the media. Who cares? That guy does not need to do anything for the rest of the year, at least. I mean, give him a break. He's been at the will of the media for this whole 17 years that he's been without having a major championship under his belt, and he just needs a break. Just leave him alone. Just let him do his thing, and just like don't bother him, because he doesn't need to do anything for anyone, because he's a Grand Slam winner, and he's He's going to go to Denny's and have a Grand Slam breakfast. That's what he wants. Just leave him alone. He doesn't need to do anything anymore. So, I don't know. They're like, oh my God, he's just not doing well. And it's like, it's the end of the road for Rory McIlroy. He's not doing well. Oh my God. So it's like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Let him do his own thing. He doesn't need to do anything with the media. It's like, who cares? So anyway, thanks for listening. This is the Knacker Golfers Podcast, driving to work on a Monday morning, pontificating and reminiscing about the agony of Oakmont this week at the U.S. Open. All right, and JJ Spawn's the winner. Thank God. All right, thanks a lot for listening. God bless, and have a great week.